Today, I'm going to mount this bridge on this guitar body. If that's something you'd like to see, stick around because we're getting started right now. Alright guys, I'm going to mount this Hipshot Bridge onto our guitar body tonight. I'm not going to measure this again because I measured it about 6 times, and if you saw the last video you'll see how I did that. If you didn't, check out that last video where I mount the neck and measure the bridge. But I have this outline drawn here on my masking tape. Put the bridge on here, center it in there best I can, and I'm going to take a pencil and try to get some marks on here for where the mounting holes are going to go and where the 6 strings are going to go. I'm trying to put a pencil mark in the center of each of these holes. It's kind of awkward. It's not really a straight line deal. It's not something where I can try to do this, circle around each circle. Now the ones inside these saddles I can actually get to pretty well, but without taking off the saddles I can't get to the ones with the... That came out fairly good. How well you can see that. They're not perfect, but what I can always do is go center to center here. Check my measurement. If I go center to center, this is not my best caliper. Okay, looks like 10.2, 10.2, 10.2, you probably can't see what I'm doing here too well. What I'm doing is taking this 10.2 millimeter measurement, which is the on center between the 6 holes, and matching it up with what I have on here. My holes are, my circles that I drew within the hole are pretty good. Just going to reinforce my marks in each of these so I have a good starting point for my drill. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the holes for the 3 mounting screws to actually mount the bridge. So I'll take this caliper, line this up so it's approximately in the center. Pretty darn close. 2.24. Okay. Now I'll come up here and see how that measures out with my marks. And actually, they're spot on. So This one I slid a little bit on, but I just push down with the pencil point. Make a little indentation in my masking tape. And there we go. Got my 6 string holes and my 3 mounting holes marked. All right. Okay, first we're going to drill the 3 holes to actually mount the bridge. The screws that came to mount this Hipshot bridge, it's a 1-inch screw, about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. So I'm going to use a drill bit that's a little bit smaller, which is a 3/32. That way, if I look on here, if I line this up, and I can look at that drill bit and I can see the threads from the screw coming out on either side, I know I'm good there. I know this isn't going to go all the way through. I don't need to worry about drilling all the way through the wood, but I'm going to ensure that I have a nice straight hole by using this guy. It's called the drill block. It's made by Miles Craft. What it is, it's like an inch tall guide to run your drill bit through. It has 6 different sizes, starts at 1/8 inch, goes up to 1/2 inch. It's basically when I put this down here and I run this drill bit down through there, it's going to keep it relatively straight. Now granted, this is an 1/8 inch hole, this is a 3/32 inch bit, it's a little bit smaller. It's not going to be perfect as if I were using an 1/8 inch, which we'll see when we drill the holes for the strings to go through. But another way to do this without using the drill block would be to, if we take the screw and measure it up against the drill bit, and where the screw ends there, take a piece of masking tape and mark that bit, so when we drill down through, when we get to the masking tape, we know it's time to stop. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the drill block. The thing is, you have to chuck your bit far enough out to get through here 1 inch and still come out far enough to drill a hole for the screw. Now this is, it's a little bit shorter than the screw, so let me see if I can move this out just a little bit more. I don't want the hole to be too short, but I also don't want it to be too long. So once again, I'll put this on here. This has these ridges on the bottom that are the same, perpendicular to the edge here, so it's the same height. So if I put that screw on there, just a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch shy of the full depth of the screw at this point, and I think that's pretty good. And then to do this, where I made my marks and I made my little indentations, I just need to make sure that the drill bit is going to go into that indentation and not move around, which I know it will. And I just take the drill block, put this through here. I'm going to find that indentation, which is right there. Hold the drill block and drill down. All right, one down. And here's the thing. If you've never done this before, it's your first guitar. This is my 4th guitar. You're going to get to a point where you measure and you experiment, and you measure and you remeasure and you keep double checking yourself, but eventually you have to take the step. You have to drill the hole, you have to make the cut, you have to do whatever it is, to take action to get your result. Sooner or later you have to take the dive and do it. And the thing is, you want to be as precise as possible with this, all this measurement and lining things up, but it does not need to be exact. Trust me, there is a little wiggle room. So here we go. All right, 2 down, 1 to go. Make sure I got a good spot to lean into. Now granted, a drill press would be better for this, but I don't have a drill press. All right, here's the test. Put it on there, line it up, and I'm fairly certain you're not going to be able to see this, but I can see that the holes line up, and they look pretty darn centered. All right, so I'm happy with that part. Got our mounting holes drilled. Next, drill 6 holes for the strings to go through, and on the back side the ferrules will go in on the back. I'm going to use the same tool, but I'm going to use a slightly different drill bit, and you'll see in a second. Okay, we're drilling the holes for the strings and the string ferrules. It's a slightly more involved process. First thing I did, I'm going to block this up, because when I drill through here, I want to have another board underneath to drill through, and I also put masking tape. What I did was measure the distance between the edge and this line where these screws are going to go in, and then measured the same distance on the other side. Put some masking tape. The holes are going to come through somewhere in this area. This masking tape, and then the fact that we're going to be drilling down into another piece of wood underneath, will help prevent tear out when the holes go all the way through, when the drill bit comes through. So I have this blocked up, and in addition to blocking it, I'm also going to clamp this down. Onto my bench, not super tight, but just tight enough to hold it still. By the way, if you do any kind of woodworking and you want to do these things, I highly recommend a set of these clamps, at least these small 6-inch guys. These are Jorgensen's. I think I got them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. They're inexpensive and they're super high quality, and they're just so easy to use. Slide up and down and then just tighten it. All right, here we go. Now, first of all, I am going to drill the initial hole for these. These are going to be 1/8-inch holes. Okay, now the screw I used that I'll use for these 1/8-inch, it's a little bit bigger hole, but I'm going to start the pilot hole with this 3/32 bit, same one we used before, and I'm just going to use my drill block the same way and start each of these holes. But then after I get them started and they're about 1 inch down, and not going to go all the way through, then we're going to switch bits. There it is. It was in there somewhere. This is an 1/8 inch. This is a long drill bit. This is another thing I got. This is a 5-piece set. It has 5 popular size drill bits in. This is the 1/8 inch. I know it's an 1/8 inch because I measured it with this, and it's about 3.1, again 3.175 millimeters is an 1/8 inch. By using this bit, I know I'm going to get all the way through into the piece of wood that's underneath here. But initially we're going to start with the drill block and these 6 holes with the 3/32. And the other thing I'm going to do when I am ready to do this, I'm going to try to give myself some leverage, because this drill bit's going to require me to come down on quite an angle. My clamp dropped, slid out of the rubber foot here. Let's redo this. Maybe where I can. All right. All right. Once again, find that each of these has a little indentation. Just going to make that a little more pronounced here. When I put this bit in there, I'm going to get as straight of a hole as I possibly can. All right, let's do it. All right, looks pretty good so far. See how it lines up on here. Oh yeah, I see 6 pretty well centered holes. Okay, now move on to the big bit. Now let's see, am I going to be able to get enough leverage? I think so. If not, we'll have to move to plan B. Okay. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, that's a little bit too much spring for me. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is move on to another 1/8 inch bit that I'm hoping will go all the way through. All right. That clamp does not want to stay on there. Okay, now this bit will go all the way through. It'll go all the way through, and I think if I keep it relatively close to the end here, we might be able to. Oh, that's going to be close. All right, here's a snag I did not anticipate. I don't like putting the bit that far out in the drill, but I need to know it's going to go all the way through. And that looks like it'll go all the way through. So here we go. We're going to give it a shot. Wish me luck. Question is, did we make it? Make it all the way through? Only way to find out is take the clamp off and check. And it doesn't look like we made it all the way through. All right. Now it looks like we're going to have to go to plan C, which is going to be this. I'm going to go as far as I can with this bit, and then since I might not have a choice, I might still have to go with that big bit. But I won't have to worry about the wobble too much, because we'll only have to really pierce about, I don't know, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of wood. But sometimes you have to improvise. Once again, this is something that a lot of guys prefer to do with a drill press. Maybe one of these days I'll get a drill press. But today, I don't have one. Two more. Last one. All right. Scary as this is going to be, I got to do it. And sometimes the only way to do it is to just do it. So we're going to just do it. I can feel it already went through. Let's take a quick look just to make sure. But I could feel it we're very close to breaking through the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through. Break on through. Oh yeah! All right. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with fire, baby. I'm quite excited now. That went pretty smoothly. Let's hope the rest of them go that smoothly and I don't screw it up. Now at this point, this is where we're going to use the masking tape to make a little flag here on the drill bit. So I'm going to put this up against the ferrule. I want it to come up right to underneath this lip here, which will be the flush point. And then I'll just take this tape and put it right there so I don't drill past that point. Okay, so I know where to stop with the drill. Now, the fun part is going to be getting these to line up. Over and say, it's a little more stable. All right, from this side, we're looking pretty good. From this side, not quite as good. However, when I went to go to put these ferrules in, I wasn't really counting on the width of that lip on the top, and I don't think that these are going to go in here side by side without either hitting or overlapping. So we can't have that. So I think we just change this to a bareback. No ferrules. The strings will just go in there and seat inside the holes. They're all relatively the same deepness. I'll do a little bit of drilling here. Down to my tape again. That was pretty good. Okay, so my holes are a little bit deeper than where the strings would be going if they were sitting in the ferrules. But, and that's a big but, the scheme of things, I'll take it. Not completely level, not completely even, but you know what? We're not having a drill press. I'm pretty happy with it. And when this is all finished, it's not even going to be noticeable. This side you won't see. This side's going to look great. I'm happy. Now, I'm not going to mount the bridge now. I'm not going to put this on with the screws and all that because I don't want to drill into this wood with these screws any more than I have to. I know my main mounting holes matched up here pretty much perfectly. All right, still going to need some touch up, but we'll sand these nice and smooth. Get all those little nicks out of there. Might even do a little bit of filling, who knows. All in all, I came out about 90% of what I was looking for. Not perfect, but a lot of times projects like this are not perfect. And nonetheless, I'm still happy with it. Bottom line is, strings go through here, they're still going to come out. They're still going to round up over the bridge in the correct place, and guitar is going to play great. So thanks for hanging out and watching me struggle through this debacle. I am happy about one thing. When we put this red oak piece in here to fill that trem cavity, I'm very happy that this is the piece of wood that these string holes are going through and not this soft body. That will give some stability and make this much better playing guitar, and it's going to make it much safer by having the mounting screws go into this red oak as well instead of the soft wood. It prevent them from pulling out, stripping easily or anything like that. So all in all, came out pretty good. Whew, that was a rough one. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in, and tune into the next one. We are going to do some finish sanding on this bad boy, and then we're going to put the finish on. And if you want to see what that finish is, you're just going to have to tune in, because I'm not going to tell you. So tune into the next episode in our Jagocaster build, and let's make this a nice guitar.